there! I'm Sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf. Because everything is special with sprinkles. Santa Claus knows you're special too, and he has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to all the boys and the girls of the world, including you, my friend, including you. So happy to be with you. This is Santa Claus from Santa Claus Says.net. And this is where we like to do three things every day during the Christmas season between now and Christmas Day. We like to do three things. We like to spread some Christmas cheer, and we do that by sharing some good news there from Sprinkles our elf and a couple of funny jokes from Santa Claus. And we also do that. The second thing we do is we tell a Christmas story, and we have a wonderful Christmas story today about the elf who found Christmas. And then we also read a letter to Santa. And so that is what we do right here at SantaClausSays.net. And what you can do then is you can always reach out to me at SantaClausSays.net by going to that website, and you can leave me a voicemail message, or you can leave me a text message or an email, and I will get those messages, and we'll have a good time together. And perhaps, just maybe, you'll hear your name on the read here on SantaClausSays.net. Well, boys and girls, there is the Glockenspiel, which means it's time for Santa Claus's fun joke of the day. Here's our joke. Here's a couple of our jokes here. What is Santa's go-to fast food order? A Frosty. What did the elves call Santa when he accidentally stepped on a big bag of cashews? A nutcracker. So, well, we like to have some fun here at Santa Claus Says. And now it's time, the Glockenspiel says it's time for our story time. And so let's read our story. Our story is all about the elf who found Christmas. And so let's read that story. I want to remind you that we've been reading this story for a few days now. We're going to read it for a few more. So you can follow along with the stories, all the great stories that Santa Claus Says, by going to our podcast at SantaClausSays.net. It's also on Apple and Spotify, or on our YouTube channel. Excuse me, our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Santa Claus Says. So here's our story for the day. We're continuing our story called The Elf Who Found Christmas. And they've got all the elves and Santa was on the sleigh with all the toys. And here we go. On sped the sleigh over the snow, the moon and the stars glittering cold and bright in the frosty sky. Snow, snow, still more snow. Then the forest, dark and piney and sweet smelling. Now and then a house. Up and up to the roof they would go with the sleigh, and down the chimney Santa Claus would go. Then back again to his place, and off the reindeer seemed fairly to fly over the snow. Now a village, now a town, and everywhere children in bed asleep, their bedrooms dark or dimly lit by a low night lamp. And everywhere ready and waiting for Santa Claus, though not always ready in just the same way. Sometimes there would be stockings hung by the chimney with care, and sometimes a little wooden shoe placed outside the door. Sometimes a candle burning in the window to light Noel upon the way. But always Santa Claus knew what to do and just what presents to leave at every house. Into a big city dashed the sleigh, straight towards the great castle with turrets and towers and many wooden windows sparkling in the frosty starlight. And in the castle was Princess Maud. That's where she lived. And now Merry Thoughts and Lady Arabella were forced to say goodbye. I know you will make Princess Maud happy, said Mary Thought, kissing Lady Arabella's uh, pretty pink cheek. In return, Lady Arabella threw both her arms around Mary Thought's neck. I'm so glad you could come with us, whispered she, hugging him close. And do try to find Christmas again tonight if you can. Then down the chimney went Lady Arabella and Santa Claus, with the great pack of toys, into the peaceful night nursery, where slept the little Princess Maud, dreaming of the big little girl dolls she hoped Santa Claus would bring her that night. On with the sleigh, and Mary Thought crept next to Santa Claus and cuddled down close as the sleigh swept across the ocean with its dashing waves and snow squalls and great ships plowing silently along through the night and through the black and icy water. Those were children on those ships. Do you think Santa Claus passed them by? Nope. He didn't. By special arrangement on the decks, he flung great sacks of toys so that no child would wake up on Christmas morning and find his stocking unfilled. Over the land again, Santa Claus stopped so often now that Mary Thought grew quite used to holding the reins. There were more children fast asleep, and where mothers and fathers were trimming the Christmas trees, and people trudging through the snow carrying presents and wreaths and holly and bunches of mistletoe. There's nothing in the world quite like Christmas and plenty of toys for everyone, Mary thought. And his face was so happy, and he looked down at Mary thought that the little elf was ashamed to tell him how he really felt. So he buried his nose in the warm fur robe and only mumbled something about too many toys. But Santa Claus heard him and understood. He didn't speak again, Mary thought. He only looked at him, and when he reached the poorhouse, where Santa Claus left the little boy a fire engine, and next door the lady had a monkey on a stick. Perhaps all children don't have too many toys, Mary thought, but they all have something, and I'm tired of toys, just tired of them. Now Santa Claus drove through the whole countryside, and on and on and on. There was no house to be seen. And so we're going to stop the story right there, boys and girls, and we're going to come back to it on our next time together. And more of this story to do about the elf who found Christmas. And that's what we're going to do. So, what a great story. More story to come. You can find the rest. We're going to read more of the story tomorrow. And we heard more of the story in the past. And that is what you can do. You just go to SantaClausSays.net. And that's where you can find everything. There's our Glockenspiel, boys and girls, which means it's time for Santa's letter of the day. This letter today comes from Keely, who wants to know, hey, Santa, how are you doing? I would like some Christmas lights and some Christmas art. And that's a wonderful thing. Lights and art. I love that because I love to see all the Christmas lights and I love to see art done. And I hope that for Keely, you'll have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And I thank you for the letter. And I want all the children of the world to be creative, to see things that are lit up and beautiful, and to make art yourself, whether it's drawing something or making something out of clay or doing something else that's creative. Maybe on your computers, you can do some creative art there. Do something that's creative and make something for someone else. Maybe you can make a picture and send it to Santa Claus. You can send it to me at SantaClausSays.net. And that's where I want you to also to send me your letters and your emails and your voicemails and your text and anything else to SantaClausSays.net. We'd love for you to do just that. Well, boys and girls, that Glockenspiel means it's just about time to say goodbye. On this episode of SantaClausSays.net, we got more to come. We're still a couple weeks away from Christmas. We got more great stories. We got more fun with Santa Claus, great jokes. We want you to join us every night here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the live show on youtube.com. And then we have our podcast, which is audio, which is at SantaClausSays.net and also on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, and other places as well. You can find us those places. Everything happens at SantaClausSays.net. We do want you to know we have two very special programs coming up before too long. On Christmas Eve, we have our Christmas Eve reading of The Night Before Christmas. You know the story, and your parents and grandparents know the story too, of the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And we read that entire story live on YouTube on Christmas Eve, and then we on Christmas morning at about 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday on the Christmas day, we will read the story of Christmas from the Bible, and you will have a wonderful time doing just that. It's from the Bible, the story of the first Christmas, the most important story that there ever is. Well, Santa Claus loves you and loves to have you here and to listen to you and to share your letters. And remember, we do three things here at Santa Claus Says. We spread Christmas cheer, we have a Christmas story, and we also have a letter to Santa. So we'll see you next time here on Santa Claus Says, boys and girls. And remember, until next time, Santa Claus says, be good for goodness sakes. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho.
You're special to Santa Claus, just like sprinkles. Get on Santa's nice list at SantaClausSays.net and watch Santa Claus Says live on YouTube. Tell him Sprinkles sent you.